jitters out
That's
because
it.
this is the big time.
It's a big one, yeah.
Yep.
No,
And
let's have fun. Have fun with it.
yeah, you know, it's like I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
Just nobody cares. Too many people care.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right,
These guys
You're
suck.
spreading
I
misinformation.
want my money back.
but it's free.
You guys should subscribe to our water package.
Yeah. More on that later.
Exactly. Watch our ads. Okay, shall we start?
Yeah. So on that note,
Greetings and fist bumps. This is the Raised Eyebrow Podcast, where we explore how people just peopling can make it weird to be a person sometimes. But somebody's got to do it. And we are your hosts, Kojo, Alex, and Mike. We discuss customer service torture techniques. Let's break this down for you, shall we? Dealing with customer service never goes well. Ever. Whether it's on a phone call, in person, or with digital chatbots, we've all felt a sense of sheer hopelessness that is a mundane customer service interaction. So let's ponder this. Is it all just torture techniques designed to break you? Is there anything we can do to flip the script on these interactions? Will customer service be less torturous in the future? All questions that are somehow part of a podcast conversation. Fellas, take it away.
well, I mean, I don't know about you, but nothing infuriates me more than having to call customer service. It is the worst. I'd rather pluck my eyebrows out than be on hold for 40 minutes of remixed jazz music, because every minute of hold music just makes me even more, just like ratchets it up just one more notch, one more level every time I have to call. And there's really, sometimes there's no way around it.
Yeah, you just have to wait.
Yeah.
I think they pick the style of music on purpose too, because sometimes it's like the most boring song on the planet, and it's either to get you frustrated to hang up the phone,
Yeah.
or to kind of just start plucking your hair out.
There was one place I called, who shall remain nameless, and they kept playing the same song, which is like only 30 seconds. They're not even like the full song, just 20 seconds, 30 seconds of the song, over and over and over and over and over again.
Like, I think we all have the customer service music stories, so like,
Who writes that?
I don't know, like, for me, it's always, after a while, the longer you are on your customer service waiting time, like, you'll recognize the same loop of songs, right? And it's, you know, we've all been in that situation where it's two songs and they just play it over and over again for an hour.
To answer your question, like who writes that, I think the most successful customer service song is one that I forgot the name, Oedipus something.
Let's look it up.
Google time.
Oh, here we go. Top 10. We got a top 10
Oh, wow.
list. Okay. So top 10 hold music songs. Apparently there's acoustic inspiring pop. These are the song titles. Going shopping. Another song title is In a Positive Way. That's ironic. Smooth lounge background. Never ending love.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of an interesting choice for someone who's calling into a customer service. I don't think there's love going on there.
They're trying to create love before you scream at them.
Another one is called Bossa Nova Guitar. Happy Latin Acoustic Pop. Love Ballad. Okay, there's what, 1, 2, 3 songs that have to do with love. Interesting.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. Calm, positive, corporate background. That sounds legit. That sounds like a proper.
There we go.
Like if you were to write it, if you were to write a hold music song and give it a title, it would be called Calm, Positive, Corporate Background. It doesn't even make any sense.
Right.
What does that even mean?
Oh, here's another one that has an interesting meaning. Wings for her soft jazz. How
What does that mean?
would a woman have soft jazz? Wings for her soft jazz.
Gonna be jazz
Wings
for
for
her
soft
wings.
jazz.
Yeah.
Gonna be jazz for her soft wings. What is it about jazz music, like in elevators or in customer service
Actually, yeah.
situations?
Yeah. Because jazz is more like experimental, like exploring different vibes and like spur of the moment stuff. But
Is it just generic enough that it keeps your brain just on autopilot while you're trying to,
Mm,
you know, go about your transactional business.
Yeah, maybe
right.
that's it. Yeah.
I think, or is it because maybe they're trying to, not let you overthink
Maybe.
Oh,
too much? Because usually when it
think
has
that.
words, it's, you know,
So is that a tactic? Would they try to
it
make
might
you
be.
like not overthink what kind of cards you're gonna play?
Right.
Oh,
Possibly.
okay, so they're trying to like
It might be.
disarm you while you're waiting for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So while we're diving into this, do you guys have any good customer service torture stories?
I just concluded one. It lasted for it was 100 days.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, longer than some wars apparently, and it felt like a war, to be honest. Like I had to call, like it was at the point where I was calling them like almost every other day, and every person I would talk to, it's like no movement was happening. They're like, oh yeah, we'll look into it. You know, we're gonna call you back, or one of our supervisors will get in touch with you. Never happens, and it was something so simple too. Like I ordered a product and it was the wrong color, you know, which could have been like an honest mistake. You know, they didn't verify something before they put it into a box, and then I got it, and it took them a good 60 days to send me a return label to ship it back. And then it took like another 30 days to get the money back, which was like an ordeal. And then instead of actually giving me the money back initially, they sent me another product. I was like, well, I don't want the product anymore because the product that I actually wanted, I just went out and bought it because it's been 100 days. Like it took that long. And it's like, I kind of need this thing now. I can't wait for you to figure out how to ship stuff before, you know, like this is not like a learning curve thing, like where you put like the trainees on. Yeah,
Brutal.
unfortunately, it was.
Yeah.
So obviously we don't want to name the company, but is
Yeah.
it like a newer company?
Oh no, they've been around for a while.
See, I don't understand that. Like, what are these
Yeah.
growing pains if you're a veteran company?
Yeah, because they're established, they don't really care if you buy from them or not.
Good point.
So they're just gonna
But we're in a
give you the
pandemic. Like,
worst.
how else are people buying stuff? Like, nobody wants to go to the mall because it's like, you go to the mall, you risk your life. But okay, yeah, you can order online, but that's where everything's going. I
Yeah.
mean,
you're stuck with us.
one of the most valuable companies right now is Amazon, and one of the other most valuable companies in the world is Alibaba, which is basically the Chinese version of Amazon.
Hmm.
You know?
See, I think this is a thing. So, like, say for instance, you could walk into a shop and pick your favorite pants or whatever you want to buy, but then you can get a cheaper version from Amazon. You know very well the cheaper version from Amazon is not the best quality, but because they're giving it to you in 2 days, you're gonna buy the Amazon one. So
Yeah.
I think it's like a play on, like, just so people that know you're still gonna buy it anyways. They don't care about customer service. They'll give you the worst customer service because at least they're the only people you can buy it from, or they could deliver it to you faster than anybody else.
That's true, yeah. Like my dad, he had a bunch of different mouses for his computer. I'm like, why do you have like 6 mouses? And he's like, there's no point trying to deal with customer service because you have to pay the shipping to ship it back. So he's like, it's cheaper just to buy a new one. Because like you have to ship it back, then you have to pay for that, and you have to buy the one that you actually wanted instead. And I was like,
Right.
just keep the friggin' product.
Your dad's a customer service veteran.
Yeah, he
Not
knows
his
he
first
knows
word.
how the game is played. Yeah.
Exactly.
He doesn't want to call and be listening to some lounge
Oh yeah.
music that
Yeah, maybe that's why he doesn't like jazz. Yeah.
That's how they consensus. Jazz gets a bad rap because of customer service.
I like
is there a rock, like a hard rock
that would just amp people out.
Yeah, you just get
music?
angrier as you're waiting.
Can you imagine? Just put in like heavy metal or something like that. People just walk in ready for battle.
Oh man.
where's my socks?
Mind you, if you are trying to make your customer service better by playing heavy metal, you would have people come in and they'd be more angry and amped up, which means that you wouldn't want to resolve those things faster so that you don't have as many people calling in even angrier. So maybe it's like a subtle like psychological technique to kind of like fix the process rather than having people like worn down coming in.
Maybe.
So are we saying like maybe the tactic is they play the cards to benefit their side and goes against us?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally. On that note, we looked up types of psychological torture techniques. So there's 4 of them, broadly speaking, and these are from a study that was done at UC Berkeley, because we do our homework here at the Raised Eyebrow podcast.
That's right. Okay, so the first one is suffering. With customer service, the whole process is suffering. Hold times are truly the worst. And then when you get on, you dive right into your speech or rant about how you've been wronged, only to hear the response, "Let me verify your account." And then you lose your mind. But that derails all your thinking. And then when they ask you to start again, or even worse, they transfer you and you have to do it again and again and again. It just becomes this incompetence inception.
Oh yeah, endless cycle of just like saying your account information to the point where you have it like memorized.
Yep. So I actually have an example of this.
Nice.
Happened to me years ago now, but definitely created some PTSD with customer service call-in. So once I was overcharged on my phone bill, and I was given like a confirmation code saying that I had to call in and they would take care of it. So I actually had to call customer service and get them to fix it. So I spent an hour and a half trying to get confirmation that they fixed the mistake that they told me to call in for them to fix. So I was basically just passed on from associate to associate. A few managers came on. Nobody really knew how to incorporate this confirmation code. But yeah, definitely frustrating. An experience for me that I definitely won't forget.
It's kind of like you're filling out a form and then you have to submit certain things, and by the time you're either timeout or sometimes you miss certain things, and then you have to go back, and then you're like, but I don't want to do this.
Like the digital version of customer service.
Right.
Oh yeah, the chat rooms. Oh man, those are the worst.
The chatbots.
Yeah, and you know that the person's like doing like 5 different accounts.
Oh yeah.
And it's like and they take like 20 minutes to get back to you. And then when you don't take like 30 seconds to get back to them, like, "Are you still there? I'm going to close the chat." But just let me respond. Like, I'm still typing. Like, it takes more than 30 seconds to write 2 sentences here.
My question for even the chat room is pretty much like, so you fill in, you have your account number, and then you fill in the problem. You stated the problem, but then they come back and they ask you the problem again, and then you have to type again to put in the problem.
Yeah.
You know the hack I learned for that? Is you have a Word document open on your computer and you copy and paste everything over to that. And when you do it several times, you just copy and paste everything back into the chat. So it's like your account information or your explanation about what happened. So just like write out your explanation and then just copy and paste every time you have to deal with these people.
Yeah, totally. I've done that with like phone calls as well, where I have like sticky notes of what I want to say. And then obviously about the 5th time you get transferred, you know exactly what you're saying. But like the little details, your car insurance or whatever, here are my questions, here's what happened.
I spoke to this person.
Yeah.
Yep.
They didn't help.
Use your hold time to
to
take notes.
Yeah, exactly. I was dropped. I had to call back, start over.
Detailed notes, yeah.
Yeah, but I think
it's like a whole new job.
It really
like
is.
You have a list of things you have to do during the day, and then you have to add additional hold time to, talk to people online.
Yeah. Like I got into the habit of starting, like for that 100-day marathon, I got into the habit of recording them. And I got really good at it where I would have like time markers, like on when someone said something previously, because they would be like, "Oh no, that never happened," and then I would play it, and they'd be like, "Okay, well let me look into this for you." I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, right."
Well, on that note, I think from an empathy standpoint, like I can empathize with the person who's doing the customer service. Like they don't want to be there any more than you want to make that phone call or go in person to complain about whatever product you want to complain about.
Yeah. It's kind of like, so we got a scam call. My wife got a scam call from India.
Oh, man.
And she was so tired. She just got home from work, tired. Phone comes in. She picks up, and it's India. And then she goes, "I know you're in India." And then the guy is like, "No, I'm not." Like, "I know you're calling from India. You should get a better job and stop disturbing me." Mm-hmm. So then as they were going back and forth, the guy, it's like, "Yeah, I'm India. I couldn't find any job, and that's why I'm doing this."
Yeah.
Felt kind of.
He just broke.
We felt kind of bad for him in a way.
Oh man. There's all these like prank call customer service pranks.
Oh, my neighbor did this trick on where they called at a time when they were having, it's like he was busy. So then he goes, "Can I get your phone number? So I call you when you're having dinner with your family."
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
Was that from a Seinfeld episode?
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, that's what Jerry says. Yeah. Like, can I get your number so I can call you when you're having dinner with your family? But no. Well, how do you like it? Yeah.
You literally flip the script.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll jump on to the next tactic, and that's helplessness. So usually what happens is you have zero control over what happens, and on their side they have a process that has to happen, and there's nothing that can influence that process. So then you're basically left out, powerless with no control.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very like transactional, I think is the best word.
Oh yeah.
Like, because it is a process, it feels like very robotic, and that person who's doing their job or trying to do their job, like they have to stay on course, especially if they're recorded, right? Like your call would be recorded for quality assurance or whatever line they have, which is part of the process. So it's like layers of bureaucracy, and you're diving into it. So when you're going into that, you have to, it's part of the marathon that Alex, you were talking about earlier. If it takes 100 days, can you sustain it?
Yeah.
Do they really, review those processes? Like someone sits down and then, all the recorded tapes they go through, and then
I think it's only if somebody actually complained or said like, so and so told me to, go fly a kite, and I think that's what it's about. I don't think they actually like. Can you imagine being somebody who has to sit there and listen to like customer service calls all day? That would suck.
That's the most soul.
That's even
job.
torture in
Yeah.
itself on that employee.
It's
Yeah.
got to be one of the worst jobs possible.
Oh, for sure.
Just soul sucking.
Like I do empathize with them, but it's like on one hand it's like, well, I mean, maybe polish the resume and look somewhere else
Yep.
to be a little more brash about it, but I tend to go easy on them, at least at first. But then when it's like when it goes on for like 100 days, you kind of start to lose patience.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it really becomes hard to like, I think that's like one of the hardest parts about it, is that you tend to forget that there is a person on the other side.
What about in person, when you're dealing with a customer service associate, like in a retail store? Speaking from experience, I've worked like in my teenage years, I was a retail department store customer service associate. And, I've seen all the angry customers, the patient customers, the whole shebang.
Oh yeah.
But the processes were in place to handle the basic stuff. But you have the cuckoo people who just lose their minds. Sometimes it's warranted too.
Yeah, sometimes it is warranted. Yeah. How do you? I don't know. I mean, I don't have a. Some people just have a knack for it. Like they can just handle it, and what is it? Kill them with kindness, kind of thing.
Yep.
And you kind of like diffuse the situation so you can actually talk and reason with the person. But I think it's important to understand like something triggered that customer to be upset, right? And when somebody does call in or complain in person or through whatever avenue, like we have so many options about where we spend our money these days that I would say customer service is more and more important. But I find that actual valuable customer service is becoming less and less important, or less and less prevalent.
Mm-hmm.
It's like rare now to actually see a company that's good with it.
I think most companies, part of the process is like just give it to the customer. Like it's fine,
Yeah.
at least in person.
But that kind of makes it seem as if we kind of expect just to get free stuff. The more you complain, the more free stuff you get.
Pretty much, just threaten to go to the competitor, and they'll be like, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'll transfer you one more time.
Yeah, I think some companies have it built in the system. So even if you're, a customer, you're expecting to see the whole jumping hoops through the process. So an example is like, you purchase a car and you're in the process of filling out paper forms for the car. And then the guy goes, oh, I'm going to talk to my boss. And then goes get a drink or whatever and comes back. You think. So then you expect to see that because it's normal. Like usually they have to go and get you a better deal in the car or whatever they're doing, which technically probably is nothing that they're doing on the other end.
Yep.
So then you expect to see that until another company comes and disrupt the whole process, makes it easier. But until then, we just follow the flow and we go with it.
This brings the question of the disruptors, right? The Ubers and I guess Amazon's a disruptor.
Zappos had a really good customer service department. Like you could order as many shoes as you wanted, because sometimes like from one brand to the next, your size might be like half a size different. So they'd be like, yeah, just order like 4 sizes of the same shoe, ship them all to you, and then pick the one you want, and then ship the rest back. Right?
Warby Parker does that too.
Oh yeah,
Glasses company.
For glasses.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
All these new innovative companies who
yeah.
they're thinking ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like Uber, like the taxi process where, get a ride from sitting in your couch. And then you get to see the process, like even the whole waiting, but you get to see where
It's like
the taxi is.
it's called gamification.
Oh,
Yes.
It's on a map.
so should you gamify hold times?
Yeah, how do you do that?
You probably could actually if you put some effort into it.
Yeah, there's got to be a way.
Time for a quick commercial break. We're excited to introduce to you the latest fitness trend sweeping the nation.
Walking.
That's right. It's more than just a way to move around your house. It's exercise too.
You can walk around the block or 5, walk to the park, walk to get the mail. Plus, you can even walk a dog.
Preferably your own.
And if you're thinking, gee, this walking thing is kind of boring, try listening to your favorite podcast as well as your 8th favorite, the Raised Eyebrow podcast.
Oh, don't forget the performance package.
Right. For a limited time, upgrade your walking to the performance package. Running.
It's like walking, but faster.
So get outside, folks, and get those steps in. And if you're walking right now, how meta is that?
Okay, now let's get back to our show.
Okay, so what we're talking about is there a way to gamify or make hold times something that you would actually want to go through or more enjoyable? Like what if there was something to do with like, or what if you could do like AR customer service?
So, Google had this thing where, like, so when your internet goes down, there was a dinosaur game you could play.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you're on the internet and then Google goes down and then it loads and you could play it with your arrows, just jumping.
Yep. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's a really cool way to get people holding to do something.
Yeah, I think whenever there is something visual, like it's a perfect opportunity to, like Uber, like you talked about earlier with you see the guy on the map. But it's really hard with phone calls, right? Because it's just audio. Like, how do you gamify an audio waiting session?
Quiz games. You could do a quiz game.
Quiz game.
True, false. You'd be like, what?
Oh.
How many?
I mean, you could pick a topic because it's not
Oh, yeah.
everyone who would be willing to do random topics.
Yeah, like while
So
you're waiting.
what are you interested in? You like soccer? And we quiz you on soccer.
Yeah,
I think-
you could do that. Yeah.
It depends who you're calling. Like if you're calling, I don't know, the local phone company, like it's got to be more generic, right? It's like, hey, we're gonna,
Yeah, like general knowledge stuff.
yeah, what's the biggest waterfall in the world? You know,
Yeah.
is it A,
Yeah.
Niagara Falls, B, blah blah blah, and then you just keep doing that for a couple of hours.
Yeah, just make it like educational. But then if you're like a company where like you're like if you're like a cable company, you could do like pop culture.
Yeah.
Right? If you're like sport company, you can like say Nike, for example, you could talk about like athletes, LeBron James, whoever else you sponsor, Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier if you're a likable company like Nike. Most people like Nike.
Yeah.
Most people like sneakers. You know, you can make something out of that. But if you're hardware tools, it's gonna be harder. If you're
So if you own a company and you're listening,
Yeah.
you heard
Sorry,
it from
guys.
us.
Do a quiz game, yeah. It's easy. You just have like a recording and just randomly selects from a database. and it just like says a bunch of questions audibly, and then you just wait like 10 seconds after each question to give the person a chance to answer. Right? No buttons required.
You're welcome.
Yeah, there you go.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Now hold music should be better. If that happens, you could thank your friendly neighborhood hosts.
I should play the Opus #1.
Yeah. Oh, and then for those online like chat things, which are like the worst, while you're waiting for the person to respond, is that there should be a second pop up where you can like make a puzzle, or you could play chess against a computer or something like that. Just something to like pass the time while you're waiting. You know, just these simple games that you don't have to have any proprietary knowledge or something like that. Like a puzzle. I mean, there's no patent for a puzzle.
It's a good way to defuse the situation if you're pissed off, right?
As you calm them down.
I like what these guys do. It's a good experience trying to fix my problem.
There's a study where they have someone in a room, and in the room is empty, and the only thing in the room is a shocking system. You touch it, and it gives you a shock. And when the person is, been sitting for like 2-3 minutes, the fact that you're just sitting there doing nothing, you get bored. So then they know very well that if they touch the device, it's going to give them a shock, but they still touch it anyways. And it becomes more of like a game. Like the act of you torturing yourself is just a way of you passing time.
Whoa.
Because the fact that you're just sitting there and doing nothing it's more of a torture in itself than the actual torture itself.
Whoa.
That's so weird.
It's weird.
That is very strange.
Right? So even when we're on the phone and you're just waiting and you hate the music, that's torture.
People don't call customer service because they just want to like go through the process. Like, I like to spend my Friday nights. I like to call customer service and just yell at people.
You'd be surprised.
There probably are people who do that.
There's got to be some weirdos out there, man.
Okay, so far we have suffering, helplessness, and no control over the outcome. And for this one, it's pretty much how it says. You can beg, plead, cry, protest all you want. If they don't want to do anything to help you, you're SOL. There's nothing you can do about it. And especially with these, warranties or terms and conditions, if you did like one thing or you said one thing that made it slip up, and it could change the entire outcome. So it's amazing how you have to be on your game when calling customer service. I don't know, what do you guys think?
I think you get the point. Like the whole statement just explains it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it speaks for itself.
Okay, so let's we'll go to the last one, which is deliberateness. So have you ever thought that maybe some of this is intentional? So some companies are notorious for having the worst customer service, and you know who they are in your life. And it's as if they want to use this as their advantage somehow, which truly defies logic. But that even goes back to what Kojo was saying about how somebody sitting in a room with nothing to do, bored out of their mind, would kind of like, it would shock themselves. That defies logic. So does this defy logic, or is there a logic to being the bully and the big kid on the block?
That's an interesting one. I think there is some method to that madness. Like, I think a company, like, at the end of the day, it's a business, right? So they want to maintain power and control over their business processes. We covered processes earlier, of course, but it's the bottom line, right? So if they can automate as best they can how people handle customer service, like their interactions with their own customer service and their employees who are doing the customer service, then better business, I guess. And if not, then you fail.
But wouldn't it be like, a good thing for you, the business owner, to make sure you stand out? Because that's how you're going to get return customers.
Yep, you're right, man. Even with chatbots that we were talking earlier, like it's fairly new technology. I think how many chatbots are amazing. Some of them are okay.
Yeah.
If I'm talking to my bank's chatbot online, it's a little bit. There's some growing pains if I'm asking about the details of a RRSP account or whatever.
Yeah. Although I kind of do look forward to the day when you can actually have a conversation with a computer.
Oh yeah, it's coming. AI chatbots,
Yeah.
sophisticated chatbot,
Mm-hmm.
metaverse customer service.
Metaverse.
Jump into your avatar or whatever.
Yeah. It was always fascinating back when chat boxes were becoming a thing.
Hmm.
And the fact that you knew it was a computer replying made it even more,
Trippy.
you know.
Yeah. There's a lot of funny stuff online where people would. There's this one guy who forced a bot to watch like a bunch of lawyer commercials, and then it would just write a script to write its own lawyer commercial.
Oh, damn.
And they're like, if you just look it up online, probably can't say any of them, read them out on here because of proprietary stuff. Then they would actually have to get one of those lawyers. But yeah, look it up on your old search engine.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was an AI that wrote a song.
Yeah. Or there's a Burger King commercial that was written by an AI bot. It
Oh,
watched a
wow.
bunch of Burger King commercials and then they made it write a commercial.
So
It's getting
So
sophisticated.
in a way, like the idea of the AI is it learns what we do and it spits it out.
Yeah.
But humans don't act like that. Humans, we
No.
watch a movie and then we're like, oh, okay, this is how it's done, and then we add our own, different spin to it.
Yeah. Run predictable and moody.
We create
Yeah.
mental models of how we should act, and then we bring it
Mhm.
into reality situations. Like
Right.
customer service, if you're at a restaurant, you want to have an interaction with the waiter, right? Like, that waiter is giving you customer service, but it's, there's a person-to-person thing there. Maybe because people love food, but
Mhm.
you're not going to get to necessarily know the waiter, but you could. Whereas when you're on the
Mm.
phone with your trying to fix your phone bill, you don't care what the person had for breakfast or whatever, how
Yeah.
they feel
Right.
about this phone bill.
Oh, with people, it kind of adds. They're able to understand context and nuance more than what a bot ever will.
Mhm.
Because tone of voice is such a huge thing, and just like those local mannerisms and syntax that we have, where you can imply something without saying something directly.
Toronto
From what I
mans.
understand, it'll take. Sorry.
Toronto mans,
Yeah.
the local slang. We're based in
Yeah.
Toronto, by the way, for those of you wondering where these three buffoons are talking from.
Man's damn.
That's right. T is silent, in case the world doesn't know yet.
The second T is silent. The first one you have to pronounce. Yeah. It's more of a Trana. Yeah.
Oronto.
Oronto. Yeah. Orano.
Here's a thought for you. Google Home, Google Mini, or Alexa, is that a form of very personalized customer service?
In a way, yeah, and even there are some people who are like talking about even Siri is a female. Google is Alexa, who's also, is Alexa is a female name,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think, is
Yeah.
Amazon Alexa?
So in a
Amazon
way,
Alexa, and then Google is just Google.
right. So then pretty much Google is the only one which is not
It's just Google.
like gender specific.
Yeah.
In a way, kind of makes it seems like we're still carrying on the same, women. Hey, make me food. Like,
Oh, that's
hey,
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, like
I like that thought.
They should kind of own that though. Like they should lean into not the woman part, but they should kind of lean in. No, lean away from that, but lean into like this like non-gender binary thing. Like why does it have to
Right.
be a gender? Like why can't it just
Right.
be who it is? Like it's Google. It's like
Entity.
why does it have?
Right.
Why do we have to attach a gender
and
to it?
and then you can pick the name. the voice to be male or female.
Yeah.
Like a customizable, chatbot experience with whatever technology you're dealing
Yeah.
with. Like that movie, Her. That was more of a dating thing, but
Oh yeah,
you
great
get
movie.
into like weird things at that point, right? Like,
Yeah.
can you have people are so lonely that they need to have a relationship with their robots, right? It gets bizarre.
There's well, I mean, there's already those like dolls as well. Probably should not explore the subject much further.
We want more sponsors, so we're gonna
Yeah.
steer left on this
This is
one.
not where we should be talking.
U-turn.
We talked about customer service and then we end up with companion dolls.
Digital companion dogs.
Whatever the appropriate word for them is.
It's experimental, okay?
I guess so, yeah. But back to your question, like it, like Google is kind of like the customer service for life, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're trying to figure out like how many inches in a foot. It's like it's there, you know? It's like it's filling in all the gaps of things that we just don't know. That it's quite fascinating, to be honest.
Yeah. And even like how these systems work, it's all ways and means for them to spit out the content that they already have, like Google's content, which is search engine information center space. So you could access the information through images, text, and voice.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, like, yeah. How do we wrap this up? Kind of seems like we just kind of went on like a weird branch tangent where like, we were talking about customer service and how they use torture techniques, and now we just ended up talking about like AI bots. It's pretty much par for the course for what we talk about.
Yeah.
Which is basically why we're doing this podcast. Going forward, we're going to be starting off on a few interesting topics. Everything from pandemics to ghosts to aliens. So yeah, join us on that ride. And true to form, we're going to go off on some very interesting tangents. Because why not? Let's just see where these ideas take us. That's what this is all about. It's more just exploring like curious and interesting questions that kind of make you want to raise your eyebrow. Like, what's going on here?
I think what you're trying to say is, screw it. Let's just talk.
Let's just talk about it. Let's explore those fun ideas that you have in your head.
Yeah, because all these topics are connected
They are.
some way, somehow.
Yeah, it's a big conspiracy. They're all connected. Customer service, AI bots, metaverse, aliens, ghosts. It's all connected.
Local sports
They're
teams.
here to get you.
Yeah, and we're going to connect them. Yeah,
Get your tinfoil hats ready.
yeah.
So final thoughts on customer service torture?
Yeah, I don't think they do it deliberately, to be honest. Like, I know we talked about deliberateness previously, but it feels like it's deliberate, but I don't think they do it deliberately. I think that they get caught up in these processes as a way to protect themselves and to protect their business, because this is like an exposed part of their business, right? Because you call customer service when you need help or something went wrong, and that kind of leaves them exposed. So they're trying to develop processes in order to kind of like mitigate loss and, you know, ensure that the company's not just hemorrhaging cash constantly and it's just a giant loss for them. So I don't think it's deliberate, but I do think that it definitely needs to be looked at in a way that maybe to kind of humanize the process a bit more. And if that's just a matter of adding games, making it interesting, kind of bringing back that human connection. Because when you're on the phone with somebody, you have no problem like just like laying into them if you're upset. But when you're in person, you're less likely to do that. So the more you can humanize the process, the better your customer service will be. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah. I think to add to even what you just said, which is the customer service is pretty much like the section where you get to interact with your customers, you know, what is working, what is not working, and how to add more value to the service that you provide. Can even add more value to people returning, because, you know, usually when you it's like you're at a place and then they're like, oh, free popsicles are so cheap, anyone can buy their own popsicles. But usually when it's free something, people get excited. So being able to, like, you know, give your customers who are finding faults in your product and then finding a way to kind of just make them feel comfortable with you can get them coming back. And then also to add to something that I learned from this discussion today is to just make it less, frustrating on your end, write it down.
Yeah.
Copy and paste.
That's it. Have your notes ready.
Because
Going with a plan.
yes,
Yep.
right. Write it down. The people on the other line, they hate their job as much as you hate calling them.
Yeah.
So make it easier on their end as well.
Neither one of you want to be there. Yeah.
Exactly.
The difference is that they're getting paid for it.
They're getting exactly.
That's it.
So that's it.
So final thought for me, I had this thought earlier on. So I would say look for customer service interactions in niche settings. So like a bookstore or a cafe or, you know, a record store, because that way you're dealing with someone who is probably more passionate about that customer service experience. So like you can't underestimate the value of community. On that note, follow us on all the social media platforms that are important to you. We're probably there. Join us at the raised eyebrow dot. What is it, Alex? What's our online presence?
I don't know.
We'll post a link.
Yeah. Well, check the show notes. It'll be in there. Yeah, raised eyebrow dot something.
There you go.
What is it?
There's a website.
There is a website. Hold
our
on,
first
let me
show.
look it up.
It's our first show. Bear with us, folks.
Yeah, it's it's growing pains.
It's kind of like we care about you learning something from the show more than you just following us.
Yeah.
Following sake.
At the very least, hopefully you're entertained and, you know, you do your laundry
And then
with
you come back.
some feedback in the background.
Yep, it's the raisedeyebrow.ca because we're proud Canadians, so we own the .ca. But that means that we're available everywhere across the World Wide Web. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. We don't have a Facebook account. We're not sure why, actually. Yeah,
Yeah, just because.
just because. Yeah, we figured we have to remain
boomer
cool to some people to not have. I don't know. Why don't we have a Facebook?
We're the only show which doesn't have
Exactly. Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, but we have an Instagram, so it's kind of like negates the purpose, I guess.
For alienating the boomer audience.
That's true. Yeah. Sorry, baby boomers.
Is
You
what it
can't.
is.
You won't be exposed to our show.
That's right.
Yeah. Sorry,
Alright.
Dad.
Sorry.
All right, that's a wrap. And remember, kids, more often than not, nobody knows anything. All right, we're out of here.